Okay, we're ready? Okay. We just had our Pledge of Allegiance, and now we are acknowledging citizen input. If anyone is on Zoom that would like to comment, you're now welcome to raise your hand, and Whitney will acknowledge you.
No hands?
No hands. Okay, all right. So let's go to our consent agenda.
Move approval of the consent agenda?
And I'll second it.
Okay, any further discussion? Commissioner Chang?
Yes.
Commissioner DeBonne?
Yes, and just a couple of those letters in there thanking people for being involved with the Regional Housing Authority and Steve Swisher for our Planning Commission. So just acknowledging those letters that are in there.
Yes. I think Steve wants us to send him a carrot cake every month.
That's what I hear.
Yes, that's his favorite. Okay, thank you. Let's see, so Commissioner, we've all voted, Commissioner Chang and everybody, and I said yes. So let's go to action item number 6. And it looks like we need a chair signature. So thank you for joining us.
Got the whole financial crew here today.
We do. Good afternoon, Commissioners, Madam Chair. I'm Cheryl Smallman. I'm the Business Officer for Health Services, and I'm joined today by Emily Horton, Public Health Program Manager for the COVID Response and Recovery Unit, as well as Dan Emerson, Budget Manager for Deschutes County. We're here in front of you today for consideration of chair signature on document number 2022-847. This is an amendment to an agreement with the Oregon Health Authority. This is amendment number 5, which are related to the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA funds for short, as well as a board signature of resolution number 2022-072, which is increasing appropriations within the Health Services Fund and the 2022-23 Deschutes County budget. Amendment number 5 increases our not-to-exceed amount by $400,000 related to the FEMA funds, that, as I had mentioned. This is a not-to-exceed amount of $3,470,000 and extends the grant expiration date to June 30th, 2023. It's related to a federal emergency declaration, which currently does not have an end date. So the OHA, Oregon Health Authority, extended it to June 2023, but it may end earlier should that federal declaration end. So they have committed to 60 days notice if that were the case. And I will hand it over to Emily Horton to talk a little bit about how we use the FEMA funds.
So as Cheryl mentioned, this is related to vaccine administration. So these are currently funding all of our vaccine clinics in the county. We have typically between 4 and 8 clinics per week, depending on the week. We have standing clinics in Lapine, 2 in Bend, 1 in Sisters, and then every other week up at the fairgrounds in Redmond. In addition to that, we do vaccine clinics at long-term care facilities and other congregate settings, like more targeted clinics for underserved populations. So this kind of services all of those vaccine administrations in all of those locations.
Do you have a set of providers or folks that are at the vaccine clinics? They're the same group going to each one of them, and then volunteers associated with it?
So we have a lot, yes. So we have our limited duration employees that we utilize, plus a small group of temporary employees that we use, and then a pretty large group of volunteers that we're still using. So you probably remember back at the mass vaccination clinic, we had about 1,400 volunteers that signed up to be volunteers for our sort of public health reserve corps, which is something we're really excited about. And you know, typically now we have about 150 people that are pretty active and come to those clinics. So that in-kind and volunteer, we also get it from our libraries and the sites where we have the vaccination clinics, which a lot of times they let us use free of charge.
Because that's what I saw in Lapine. I stopped in a couple months ago now, but they were on duty. The volunteers were on duty, so it's just good to see it. Exactly.
They're so great.
Yep.
We're super happy to have them still.
In the budget for this $400,000 amendment, there's I see regular employees and I see temp help labor. I didn't see limited duration, or would they go which one of those categories are you sticking them in?
Limited duration will be in the personnel.
Okay.
Regular.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're actually limited duration.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, the very large amount of these 400K that are going into temp help labor, to me, reflects that we are still kind of trying to be nimble and responsive, and you know, we're working with kind of borrowed capacity to do a lot of this work because we're not sure whether it's, you know, how much longer we'll have to be doing it for. So I appreciated seeing that because, you know, we all would love it for the pandemic to wind down and for us to kind of wind down a lot of these operations.
For sure. And we acknowledge that. And then, yeah, like we could see from probably the time that Commissioner DeBone was stopped by in Lapine till now was a huge difference with the booster. So we went at the end of August from about doing, I mean, basically no vaccines. We, you know, had no vaccine clinics to that first week in September, going up to over 1,100 doses in that first week. So that's exactly what you're describing as being nimble and being able to flex up and sort of flex down depending on the demand, which we anticipate continuing. So this extension allows us to have a little bit more flexibility as we move, but certainly planning kind of a step down approach over the next several months. Clearly, we want to support our providers so that they can do their other things while we're sort of absorbing those larger scale demands. And then, you know, those targeted populations where, you know, they don't have the staffing at a long-term care facility to get these done, so we can go in and help them protect their people.
And you know, to me, this seems like good timing as well as we're looking towards the winter, and you know, the case numbers appear to be really good right now, but there's, you know, there seems to be a real possibility that we're going to have a surge, another wave sometime in the next few months. So it'd be great for people to get vaccinated, get boosters and vaccinated so that they can be better protected.
Agreed. Thank you.
So, yeah, that's kind of the content of this whole thing. Two documents, but receive money, appropriate money. So, I mean, I'll be supportive. I'll just
Okay.
see if there's any.
You
I'll
make a
I'll
motion?
move chair signature of document number 2022-847, amending a grant agreement with OHA.
Second?
Okay, is there any further discussion? Commissioner DeBone?
Yes.
Commissioner Chang?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. And then the resolution?
I'll move approval of resolution number 2022-072, increasing appropriations within the Health Services Fund and the 2022-23 Deschutes County budget.
And I will second it.
Okay, is there any further discussion? Commissioner Chang?
Yes.
Commissioner DeBone?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank you.
seeing
Great to
seeing
see
you all
everybody.
in person.
Yep.
Nice to see you too, Dan. Bye. Okay, we have other items.
So a couple items. I got an email from a teacher and tech coach at Trinity Lutheran asking to possibly use our room for a mock congressional hearing next month. So I just want to bring that here. I don't know if we all got that or if it's just an email that came in. So it's they're asking for a Wednesday, but we could probably be flexible around this Wednesday, December 14th. So just the other commissioners hear about it, if there's support or at least want to look into
I think Nick
it.
has it, don't you have it on your
Yeah.
agenda for tomorrow? Or whenever
Yeah.
everyone's meeting?
So just acknowledging them. And that'd be kind of cool. In fact, I mean, if we play our cards right, we could have the kids in early, have them finish up, and maybe stay for a board meeting. They could see us doing our thing. So, but we'll see.
You think they want to come in at 7:30?
Well, if their teacher tells them to, yeah, they can come in. We'll see. Just acknowledging that. Another item, the Eastern Oregon Caucus call. We got an email for that, so that's November 10th. Just confirming that one of us would be in attendance for that. I'm available, or
Oh, that's
if we
right,
wanna-
that starts at 6:45 a.m. Okay,
but it's just a call, so you can do it from home. So I'm offering to do it unless somebody else wants to
I have other commitments that morning.
Okay.
Okay,
So I'll do that.
okay.
Very good.
I think my Thursday's already pretty backed up.
I got one more thing too. I'm just on a roll here. So I just saw there was an email about a letter to the DSL from the Fair Board to be discussed. And one of the thoughts is just to suggest that they CC the governor's office on that too, because it was going to be to the director of DSL, but make sure the governor's office. So it's just a suggestion, and that's for Whitney, because that was an email she'd sent.
And the really wonderful news is I called the governor this morning and left her a message on her cell phone, and she actually called me back without playing my message first, and that's usually what I do. Anyway, so she's going to look into it because she's actually approved it. And I said, Governor Brown, if you could please get this taken care of for us, we would so appreciate
Well, there
it.
you go. It's already going to be done then.
No, I hope so. It
Well,
was,
so
she
it was
sounded
just a
really,
thought.
yeah, she sounded really, engaged and
Well,
everything.
this will be a window to get some
Yeah.
things done, maybe.
Yeah, if we can get her, yes, it would be great. So, anyway, it was really nice to talk to her and know that she will do that for her. So,
Great.
anyway, I could not believe she was calling me right back. And I did ask Commissioner DeBonne if he would go to the Health Council for me on Thursday. I have about 5 meetings every hour on the hour on Thursday, I think, something like that. And then Friday is Veterans Day, and I want to acknowledge the almost 16,000 veterans we have in Deschutes County for their service, how much, they have served us, and it's their day to be recognized and thanked. So,
So what are the specifics for the Health Council?
I'll send it to
Thursday?
you. Thursday, it's at 12:30. It's Zoom or in person.
Okay.
And the new health director, Carmen, seems to be doing an outstanding job. So it's nice to have her on board.
Right. Any more?
I think that's all I can at this moment.
Well, I'll report back that there was a COIC board meeting on Thursday last week. A lot of discussion around mobility hubs and also the Core 3 project. There were, notably for my fellow commissioners, there were advocates from other counties who were asking, well, I don't think 300 acres is going to be enough. Can't you reserve like the whole 1,600 acres that you own, that the county that Deschutes County owns for the Core 3 project, just in case they
Great.
need it? And I let them know that there were other visions for that land, but if you'd like to take that up with any of them, most of those requests were coming from Crook County. Also last week, I
Crook County's
attended.
only a couple hundred, probably yards to the east there, so.
Yeah, I also let them know that there was a whole lot of BLM land
Oh, I know.
immediately adjacent to the Core 3 site. So, also last week, I attended a meeting with DQ and the Oregon Department of Forestry about prescribed fire in the West Bend project area. They have been that essentially the state provided a little bit of flexibility for prescribed burn activity in the region, or in that particular area. When they revised their smoke management rules, the Smoke Management Advisory Committee, and then last year they tried to renege on that, and basically request that prescribed burns in that area stay under 50 acres, and that they dig up all the stumps and remove them before they did prescribed fires, which is pretty unreasonable. So we're pushing back a little bit and trying to get a larger scale opportunity for the coming spring, 2023. So the last thing I'll mention is that the NACO Public Land Subcommittee is meeting at 2:00 today. So I'm going to try to attend that if we're done in time.
Great.
Oh, and I was actually at OSU Cascades on Thursday, and they are really in need of bus routes for the students. And I was kind of surprised that there isn't a really good system already implemented. So I'm hoping that we can, put something together with COIC and Cascade East Transit and really help students out with the high gas prices.
Yeah, there's a real connection there to this whole mobility hub study that they're doing. Essentially, if you set up a network of these mobility hubs around the city of Bend, then suddenly you can reconfigure routes in ways that will move people around more efficiently. So, and at least one of the mobility hub proposed locations is right there at OSU Cascade. So hopefully the expanded service that you're talking about can come along with this mobility hub process.
So they're doing a study right now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. When are they going to be done with the study?
I'm actually not sure, but if you want to go take a look at the board packet materials from the COIC board meeting on Thursday, it's all in there.
Okay. All right, great. Thank you very much. Any other items? Nick, do you have anything you want to add to the record today?
I do not, thank you.
Kim, what about you?
Nothing here.
All right. And welcome, Brenda. All right, so therefore, Eric, Whitney, everyone else is fine? So we need to go into executive then?